Have you ever let your mind wander into the realm of the impossible, the unthinkable? What would happen if the sun exhausted all its energy today? Let's embark on a thought experiment, an exploration into the shadowy corridors of what if. The sun is not just a glowing orb in the sky, it's the heart of our solar system, the celestial engine that fuels life on our blue planet. From its fiery depths, it churns out energy through nuclear fusion, converting hydrogen into helium and releasing an impressive amount of light and heat. This radiant power, this solar energy, is what makes our world habitable, driving weather patterns, powering photosynthesis, and warming our days. But what if this life-giving star, this radiant heart, suddenly stopped? What if the sun's ceaseless nuclear fires extinguished, its light and warmth snuffed out in an instant? Imagine for a moment the sun, our life-giving star, suddenly goes dark. If the sun suddenly lost all its energy, the first thing we'd notice is nothing. Now you might be wondering, how is that possible? Well, it's all to do with the speed at which light travels. You see, when the sun sends its rays shooting across the cosmos, they don't arrive instantly. Instead, the light from the sun takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to journey the 93 million miles to our home planet. This means that if our sun suddenly turned off, like a cosmic light bulb flicking to black, we wouldn't know about it for a good 8 minutes and 20 seconds. In that brief period, we'd still see the sun shining brightly in the sky, still feel its warmth on our skin. We'd still be living under the illusion of a bright and sunny day, but as the final photons of sunlight reach us, a profound change would begin to take place. Imagine, if you will, the world suddenly plunged into darkness. Not the soft, gentle darkness of a moonlit night, but a deep, impenetrable blackness. That's the first immediate effect we'd experience, the comforting, ever-present light of our sun gone in an instant. Next, the gravitational bond that keeps our planet in orbit around the sun would be severed. Earth, suddenly free from the sun's gravitational pull, would start moving in a straight line through space. Don't worry, we wouldn't feel this motion, but the night sky would start looking very different as we drift away from our solar system. Lastly, but perhaps most alarmingly, the temperature would start to drop. Rapidly. Without the sun's heat, our world would begin to chill, and within a week, the average surface temperature would be below freezing. As the last rays of sunlight fade, Earth is plunged into a deep, eternal night. So the immediate aftermath of the sun exhausting all its energy would be a world of darkness, gravitational changes, and plummeting temperatures. But this is just the beginning of a series of changes that would radically alter life on our planet. But the eternal darkness is just the beginning. The long-term consequences are far more chilling. Imagine the Earth, once a vibrant sphere of blues and greens, now transformed into a snowball encased in icy white. This is the reality we'd face as the planet gradually cools off. Without the sun's warmth, Earth's average temperature would plummet, eventually stabilizing at a bone-chilling negative 240 degrees Celsius. Yes, you heard that right, colder than the dark side of the moon. This icy existence would spell doom for plant life. You see, plants are the cornerstone of life on Earth. They use sunlight in a process called photosynthesis to convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and glucose. No sun, no photosynthesis, no oxygen or food. This would inevitably lead to a catastrophic collapse of the food chain. Herbivores would starve without plants to eat. And soon after, the carnivores that prey on them would follow suit. So, would anything survive this deep freeze? Well, life is persistent, and there are organisms known as extremophiles that thrive in the most inhospitable conditions. Some scientists speculate that life could persist deep in the ocean, near geothermal vents. These vents spew out hot, mineral-rich water, providing a source of heat and nutrients. The creatures here, from tube worms to certain species of shrimp, have already adapted to a sunless existence, relying on chemosynthesis for survival. But these would be isolated pockets of life in an otherwise barren world. As we continue to imagine this scenario, we find ourselves in a silent, frozen world, a stark contrast to the bustling, vibrant planet we know and love. The verdant forests, the colorful coral reefs, the diverse wildlife, all would be replaced by an icy, lifeless wasteland. The sounds of birds chirping, leaves rustling, and waves crashing would be replaced by the hollow echo of wind whistling across barren ice fields. In this silent, frozen world, life as we know it would be a thing of the past. Such a scenario is, of course, purely hypothetical and thankfully not something we need to worry about. Let's take a deep breath and step back from the precipice of this gloomy thought experiment. Our sun isn't about to flicker out anytime soon. In fact, it's got a good 5 billion years left on the clock. That's right, 5 billion years. So you've got plenty of time to apply that sunscreen. Our sun is a middle-aged star sitting comfortably in the middle of its life cycle. It's been glowing for about 4.5 billion years, which is quite impressive when you stop to think about it. But what does the future hold for our fiery celestial neighbor? Well, the sun won't simply burn out and leave us in the cold. Instead, it will go through a rather dramatic transformation. As it exhausts its hydrogen fuel, the sun will swell into a red giant. Now, when we say giant, we're not kidding around. This red giant will be so huge its outer layers could swallow the inner planets, including our dear Earth. But don't pack your bags just yet. This won't happen for another 5 billion years or so. After its red giant phase, the sun will shed its outer layers and retreat into a much more sedate form, a white dwarf. This tiny, dense star will continue to glow for billions of years, though its light will be a ghostly echo of its former brilliance. So while our sun's demise is far off, it's a fascinating reminder of our intimate connection with the cosmos, and a testament to the fact that all things, even stars, have their season.